Hello, time for a video, introduction number 67. So, where are we? Oh yes, here we are. Okay. What's the topic? Now this is a tricky topic. Now, what we are doing now, what we are going to be doing from this point on, we're going to be choosing a winner from all those who submit an introduction, and we'll be inviting them to write a complete essay for a full free assessment in video form. So with that in mind, I've just written a Band 9 example, and I will include that in the commentary of the winner's essay. We are waiting for them to write it. As soon as I get it, I'll make a video and I'll show you the complete example essay, and you can see how it might work for you. Okay, we just sort out my equipment here. Okay, all set. So let's take a look at your introductions though. Now, some people think that only the society should be blamed for any antisocial activities. Two-part question. What are the causes? Who is responsible for them? Step 1, paraphrase, right? As I've said before, no need for any, it is a controversial topic, it is a debatable, don't need that. Simply restate the topic, sentence 1. Sentence 2, answer the questions. That's it. Body paragraphs, reasons, examples to explain your main ideas. Okay, so some people think, according to some, it's sometimes argued, it has been said, there's different ways that you could do this. Okay, should, ought to, be blamed, responsible, accountable, held responsible, are guilty or culpable. There's quite a lot of synonym, and when you see my example essay, you will see how I have used these many synonyms for blame. So keep an eye out for that. That will be coming soon. Antisocial behaviour, activities. There's not so much you can really change that. I mean, we all understand what antisocial means. So in your essay, you would have to define what that term means. In my sample essay, which again you will see soon, I talk about graffiti and vandalism and low-level crime. That's usually caused, considered to be antisocial activities. So, what's the causes? The family. Who's responsible? The government. My essay goes a different way. As you'll see, I say society is not responsible, and I say it's the government instead. I say the causes are poverty and inequality, and the government is responsible for those because they are the ones who initiate a policy. They make laws, etc. Not society, the wider society in general terms. But anyway, that's where my essay is going. So it's sometimes argued that it is society in general that is responsible for antisocial behaviour. Okay. In my opinion, these activities are caused by family problems, and that parents, with help of the government, must be accountable for them. Okay, pretty good introduction. I didn't write this. That was written by a payman. My own, again, you will see it tomorrow. Or maybe I'll show you my introduction now. According to some, the blame for any kind of antisocial activities should be laid at society and only at society, because it says only. In my view, the cause for such problems, crime, social unrest, etc. So you can see I'm spelling out what I mean by antisocial activities, and that the government, not society in general, are responsible. I'll put a comma there. Okay, so that's my introduction, and and you'll see it in detail tomorrow, maybe. So, according to some, the sole responsi, right, so responsible is an adjective, so the sole responsibility for any kind of antisocial activities is the society. In addition to the society, these are the result of adverse impacts, or the adverse impacts of the mass media and poor law enforcement, which have been overlooked by parents and governments. Okay, yeah, that's pretty good. Be interesting to see where the rest of the essay goes, but okay. Some would argue that merely a society, merely is not the same as only, not quite the same, is responsible for any antisocial behaviours or behaviour. In my view, lack of awareness about the activities that are opposed to society, lack of awareness about the activities that are opposed to society. Okay, it'd be interesting to find out what you think those are. And unemployment crisis, if it's a particular crisis, are the primary causes, and both family and society ought to shoulder the blame for these behaviours. Well, behaviour is not usually countable, not usually, we say behaviour in general. So, that is good though. Right. We've got another one of these scope sentences. Antisocial activities have become a major concern these days. You don't need that. These two examples here are pretty good, according to some would argue, and it's sometimes argued that a couple of sentences, the example of my essay, which you just saw. Okay, some advocate the view. You mean some people think that and we don't really advocate a view. It's not quite the same thing. It's just some people think. We're not advocating a particular view. We're not putting anything forward. It's merely what they think. That the main root causes behind this can be attributed to society, which stem from an ever escalating rate of inflation and also lack of strict laws. I think the government officials are the main culprit for this. Okay, not bad. It is becoming increasingly common. Well, it doesn't say that either. All it says is some people think, according to some. So you don't really need that. Itchy head. It is becoming increasingly common to hear that people assert that the sole responsibility for antisocial behaviours is society. Increasingly common to hear that people assert. Well, it's some people. So you don't have to, again, we don't actually need that. All we need, as a matter of fact, we don't really need that at all. You can just start with some people assert that the sole responsibility for antisocial activities is society. Special root causes, perhaps some pleasant phenomenon, lack of awareness, in my opinion, are the main in charge of it. Well, they're not in charge. They may be responsible. Are the main culprits for it, or they are guilty. They're the culprits. They're responsible, but not really in charge of it. Okay. There is an opinion asserting that the community merely doesn't mean only in this context. And community is not strictly a society. It's close, but it's not quite the same thing. Only bears responsibility of, responsibility for, not of, any antisocial practices for which some root causes, yes, which are, as well as governments are responsible. Okay. It doesn't really tell you a great deal in that introduction. It doesn't really tell us a lot. Some people think society is only responsible, or the sole responsibility is a society, for which some root causes, whatever they may be, and well as governments are responsible. Okay, according to some, societies ought to assume. How can you ought to assume to hold? Somewhat complicated there. Societies are solely responsible. Right. Oops. Responsible. Antisocial behaviours. Ought to assume to hold. That's somewhat overly complicated. Ought to assume to hold responsibility. Well, you don't hold responsibility. You can be held responsible, or you can be responsible, but you can't really hold responsibility. Well, not like for antisocial behaviours. You can hold responsibility in some context. I hold the responsibility for, but ought to assume to hold doesn't really work. Now, the teachers and our parents seem able to understand the challenges ahead. What's that got to do with anything? Neither teachers nor parents. So the question is, what's the causes of this antisocial behaviour? Are you saying that teachers and parents are responsible? And what's the unemployment rate got to do with teachers or parents? Okay, see, neither teachers nor parents seem able to understand the challenges ahead as regards abusive home environment and unemployment rates, unless in my view the state itself will shoulder the responsibility for reducing social exclusion. I'm not really sure where that's going, to be frank. What's it got to do with teachers and parents? The challenges ahead? So if you said, in my view, the causes are abusive home environment and unemployment rates, and the state is responsible, that would be clearer and to the point. It's thought by some people that society is the one to blame for antisocial behaviour. Okay, that's it. That's all that you need. In my opinion, parental history of antisocial activities is the main factor contributing to such problems. Parental history. You mean that children copy the antisocial activities of their parents? However, I believe that it is not merely the society's fault and that every individual is responsible for their actions. Okay, that sounds good. Well, some individuals believe that the blame of antisocial, that the blame for, it's for, you keep saying of, for, the reason this is for antisocial activities is just a society. Others have an opposite idea. It could be some reasons. It could be, right, well, if we get rid of that, some reasons for antisocial activities could be, the major of them about this issue, to know what that is, are joblessness and addiction. That the government as a significant, because significantly is an adverb, significant is and adjective a significant role in the reduction of them, because you said joblessness and addiction, more than one. Okay. According to growing improper behavior in society, that's not necessarily antisocial. Antisocial usually refers to people making a nuisance, noise, graffiti, vandalism, low levels of crime. Improper behavior could be of a moral nature, improperly dressed, improper sexual activities. That would be considered improper, not necessarily, or not the same as antisocial, which implies something else. Many believe that these abusive behaviours, or this abusive behaviour, are due to the government's lack of attention. I personally believe that there are vast arrays of reasons, yes, such as, that are more indispensable. We won't use indispensable. Right? Now, the government's duty, which is rooted in raising children, is that the duty of the government to raise your children? I thought that was your duty as parents. What's it got to do with the government? So I'm not really sure what this is talking about. Actually, not really sure what that is talking about. Okay. So we've got some here that's not too bad. Some need a bit of work in terms of grammar, vocabulary. Some of these are pretty good. This one here, I'm not really sure where that is going. One or two of you don't even say what the causes are. Just there's some causes, but you haven't told me what they might be. That needs a bit of reworking. We don't need that scope sentence. We don't need that. If you take that out, the rest of it's good. Yeah. So, and if you take out that, that's good also. Okay, that's pretty good, and that is pretty good too. Excellent. So I'll leave that for now. Waiting for the winner to write their essay, and when they do, when I receive it, possibly tomorrow, I'll make a video and I'll show you my full sample essay. Okay, that'll do. See you next time.